The 5D mystics, those of us who move into our lovely enlightenment soul age group, or we move into having clairs, so we have a lovely relationship with the sphere of energy, its consciousness. We come to know of it in different ways, but every 5D individual will know we're not special, we're not anointed, it isn't a gift. Even if you will have come into knowingness of spirituality concepts or religion, I come with Jesus and was taught of God. I had my lovely opportunity. That first light body experience is my confirmation, and that's why I recognized my second and then following that. And of course, I choose to disengage from using words that others will use, and it's out of respect for institutions that still are standing. And there's no need for us to use the same words when they mean different things. Some of the words that I use instead are part of the yogic science, and I learned them from Sadhguru. But here's where spirituality, as Sadhguru presents, is a lot more flexible and open to people being able to use the words, because there's appreciation for expansion. So they're not rigid when it comes to people making a tribute. I would say it's a tribute, although I do find some individuals have tainted it with the Western stuff. As Sadhguru is presented, he's my spirituality guru, so when I'm hearing him speak, I hear what he shares and says. And one of them was really cute. One of his videos, what was it? I don't know who he was being interviewed from or what was the surrounding conversation, but it was something along the lines of, he shares how unfortunate it was for Jesus. He was followed only by 12 people, one, and then he was also basically taken out because of having different beliefs, presenting something different. And of course, again, he's not giving us the religious theologians who would come and say, you're saying it wrong. We're not here to be a replacement for those who speak in a language that we don't. He was sharing that to then share another comparison, which is where instead in the heritage of yoga, I believe, and I don't know all the words, that's why I'm like pausing to think which words did he use, because I also have a horrible memory for data like that. But I remember he was saying we're a lot more open to basically anybody challenging something different, because that's what expansion of consciousness, that's what enlightenment, this is how you get into sharing with humanity, and just that's expansion of consciousness. So it's not being rigid. In fact, here's where emotionally mature, mentally mature, and physically mature, a person who's a functional adult, an integrated brain, a restorative embodied self, is an individual who can be in this lovely pure consciousness, awareness of self, and this pure energy. So Purusha and Prakriti. And it's a connectedness that you will know if you've been a love button your entire life, because it means you do not get the disconnect and the defectiveness button, which is shame, which is unresolved trauma, which is heartbreak, gut wrench, torn apart. So we have a 5D collective who is whole, and 5D mystics are whole. Our heart stays aligned in a heart body that says you and I are human beings, and you can have your opinion and I will have mine, and we will not be enemies. And no matter how you present your nastiness, because adaptive children, the emotionally defective, insecure, flawed, it's an unresolved trauma and attachment wounds, things we talk about. And in fact, the ascension energies, Kundalini awakening, the words that are used in the yogic now science, it's the yogic sciences, because neuroscience, physics, and trauma experts, the good ones, are talking about trauma memory and are talking about a lot of things. And one of the aspects that has come to light is that yoga is a portfolio of ventral vagal nervous system toning exercises. And that mindfulness, which comes from the Buddhist tradition, works your cortex. It allows you to use this cortex, which is where your mammalian nervous system, the ventral vagal state, is connected to that. While our reptilian defense nervous system state, fight, flight, fright, or fight, flight, freeze, and then there's attach, cry, collapse, submit, please, appease. These are defense mechanisms. Those are connected to your limbic system and that brain. So the brainstem shoots up, I'm in danger. Limbic system is alerted, alert, alert, alert. This is Daniel Siegel's hand model for the brain. A integrated brain has a closed hand. So once alert, alert, up, no weapon. I observed my territory. There's no physical weapon. I'm safe. I'm with another person. Doesn't matter what your nervous system is doing. I'm my own nervous system because I'm a grown-up now. And if I am in 5D, I know how to self-regulate. I hold my heart body, the essence of life and love that I am, that we all are. I also hold my values, but what is most importantly is that as I grew up, so anybody who's already here, like they will know Enlightenment Soul Age Group, they might know mysticism, they might not, and they will know functional adulthood. That means that we relate to people, intuitively speaking, very directly, no filters. And when you weaponize words, when you choose to call us names, because I have been called names, because I don't do the whole social good behavior, because anybody who is a spirituality process, as Sadhguru points out, we're not here to do social good behavior, but see the spirituality process, aka functional adult, aka differentiated self. What does that mean? It means I and you are not the same person. I will have thoughts and feelings, and you will have thoughts and feelings. And guess what I get to do with true self-empowerment? Is that when you do this, I'm like, cool. And when you do that, I'm like, cool. The only time I might get agitated is as I'm growing up, making friends and learning how to be self-empowered. And so this is and so here's where 5D mystics don't do, I'm going to cut the cord of my twin flame soulmates, all of you. We're losing people because we're ascending. I'm special. No, nobody is more special than anybody, and you don't have to lose anyone. And on that note, we don't lose people. We gain people. Because we are these Zen masters and compassionate. And I laugh because I think of all these enamored with oneself lights who learn about the Ayurveda and the yoga, and apparently they didn't learn about the mindset of falling in love with yourself. So it seems that when they're in culty cults, traditional cults, or they're the actual cult person who's I fall in love with me because I'm the superhero of everyone, and here's what I'm channeling. Apparently, they actually don't recognize the hypocrisy of what they're doing. So whatever it is they learned from whoever was their teacher in yoga or Ayurveda or holistic, because see, I love everything in the in-between. I'm an in-between, but I'm like, how you don't see what you're doing? Maybe you didn't take that class. Or maybe you don't recognize that calling yourself a lighthouse and a starseed, and then going around, prancing around like this, and I got clairs, your intuition, way off right now, because you didn't notice something about yourself, which is you are walking around like you own the place. You don't own that person's body, and you have not yet mastered your physical nervous system to be in a ventral vagal state, and therefore your energetic body or your mental body. So physical body, energy body, mental body. Again, people who learn yoga know about being aligned. And here's what we know about being aligned is that we can vibe at enlightenment by choosing to treat each other with you're different and I'm different. It's okay. So some people, it's straightforward. People who it's not straightforward for, they're not less or more. No. Defectiveness, shame, heartbreak, gut wrench, torn apart. Like the Zen tradition story in Sadhguru's story, the Zen master sees the non-disciple circling a compulsive thief. We all know about Gabor Mate and how he's sharing how unfortunate it is that people who are into drugs, sex, food, alcohol in certain ways, it's because of childhood trauma. So it's pretty common knowingness now for the people who care, which is why a 5D mystic in any way, shape, or form will not be talking about karmics, devils, energy vampires, or anything of vibration hurting you, And to close this up, we don't lose people, the 5D mystic, because there's nobody to lose. You and I don't have to see eye to eye. What we notice is you're going to go vibe with the ones who vibe like you. And so if they're 4D collective, you're going to vibe with people who are in 4D. And 5D don't do 4D, so we don't know how to relate to you in your human suffering, because we know that life's a gift and we're trying to make it a better place for the entire human race. Not just one group, and nobody is more special than another. We're all special because we're all humans, and we all began at 0 years of age, which means anyone who has yet to learn to be their nature, which is love, has yet to learn to create mindful relationships, because they have yet to learn true self-empowerment, because they have yet to learn how to truly unconditionally love themselves with flaws and imperfections and not be ashamed because you did this. And that's very simple for somebody who doesn't have childhood trauma and attachment and security. So please be compassionate, because Those who are afraid to love, there are reasons, and hurt people can go and do work with good therapists, but sometimes they just watch the movies and eat Ben and Jerry's or do other things. So be loving and kind, everyone.